Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be going over the top teams for Orson, and there is a new team using Sonja. And it isn't like quite as good as the Harak team, but it comes really close. So just as an example, the best Harak team I've seen today has gone around 89 billion damage. But Himmel with the Sonja team got 86 billion damage, and there are some people who have even gone a little bit higher than that. So it comes really close to the Harak team, and of course if you don't have Harak built like me for my account, this is going to be the best team that you're going to be able to run by quite a large margin. Okay, I'm going to show you the team formation, then we can take a look at the replay. And we can also compare it to the scores that I have on my account. Okay, here's the team formation. It doesn't matter where you put the main Phraesto or the illusion because they're not going to be contracted to anyone. Sonja will be buffing up Smokey and Ludovic, who are the major damage sources in this fight because of their HP per second damage, and Mikola will be up front. Basically, what actually happens here is even though Smokey's in the middle, your team, like melee heroes, are going to concentrate around this side of the boss, so he will just be knocking up in this direction, and Smokey is free to cast and not be knocked up for the whole fight. And for the charms for Sonja, it is important to try to give her the arcane charms. Those are the best because it gives her attack and skill power for Dream Realm. But you can also go for the insight charms if you don't have the arcane, because those also give you the skill power for her buffs. But then her damage will be a bit lower because she's been dealing pretty decent damage in the bosses she's been a part of so far. Okay. So one of the first illusion gets thrown back. We don't care about the boss walking up towards us because we have Smokey in a position that his blue aura will be able to reach the boss even if he doesn't move at all. And now look at it over here. We have the three heroes grouped up on the right side, and so the Orson boss is going to use his knock-up attack in that direction, and Smokey is going to be safe from that. The thing which you might be thinking is, what is oh wait, okay, so that's silent Smokey, but generally Smokey will be able to continuously cast. But you might be thinking, what happened to Elsa? Elsa was such a key part of the Orson Dream Realm boss because of her basically interruption effects, which would reduce the fury stacks of the boss. However, the thing is, when you're in endless mode and you're talking about Ludovic's damage, Phraesto's damage, Smokey's damage, it's all HP per second damage, and that cannot be reduced. It is a fixed amount of HP every second being dealt. So it doesn't matter if the boss has fury stacks or not. And that is why it's actually that Elsa was important, I guess, before getting to Endless, but in Endless, especially with Ludovic being so strong and us not needing to run Lily May, there's no real point of you even reducing the fury of the boss, and Elsa is better replaced by like Sonja in this team to buff up further. And even that being said, what is crazy is that Sonja just deals basic damage. She doesn't have like HP per second damage. She doesn't have true damage. Her ultimate has like decent multipliers and like basically multiple attack multipliers on them. And she also gains the buff that she gives to her allies after her first ultimate cast if you have her at Mythic Plus. But she does end up dealing a lot of damage, more than you would expect for just hero without true damage or HP per second damage. And there we go. So 86, just over 86 billion damage, which is really crazy for this team, especially because the other good thing about this team compared to the Harak team is it is very consistent. And that is a huge advantage because the Harak team, like, it can vary so much. Like, it does have a higher potential, like it can get up to 89 billion like I told you guys, but you could also get unlucky and not get over maybe 85 billion. So the Sonja team is really good for the reliability. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the Harak team because it is still considered the overall top team. But the Sonja team comes really close, even closer than it did come yesterday. Okay, main Phraesto in front of Harak for the energy generation, Illusion in front of Elsa, Smokey off to the side, and Mikola here because you want the boss to run towards your team a bit. There could be an upgrade, like, I mean, replacing Elsa for Sonja. That is the thing that comes to mind as a potential upgrade, but people have tried different formations, they haven't really worked. So as of right now, this is still considered the best team, and it can get up to 89 billion. So I have a replay for my guildmate Splash, who got 89.3 billion damage with this team, which is crazy. You're not going to get much higher than that today. And of course, he has maximum investment on all of the heroes. Okay. We can watch this replay in 3 times speed, and then we can move on to the other teams. I will show you a team if you don't have Sonja and you don't have Harak. Basically, that was one of the previous best teams, and I can show you that after this. Okay, so the key of this team is you just want the Orson to walk up one tile so that Smokey's blue aura will be able to reach him. Harak eats the illusion and then eats the Mikola after that, which is pretty much perfect order. And as for the charms for Elsa, overloaded charms will be the best for her for damage output. Okay, cool. He actually eats the Elsa before the Phraesto, which is really good, I think, for the team, because Phraesto's damage output is going to be higher than Elsa. So, and then he eats the illusion, the main Phraesto gets to survive. That was a great run, 89.3 billion, and it pretty much, the devouring order went perfectly. Harak did 42 billion damage on his own. But yeah, this is the maximum potential of the team. Like, it is pretty much completely capped out. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the other team options. So for Dream Realm, yeah. Okay, I'm going to show you the other teams, which are not bad, and I can show you my top score, and I'll show you the consistency of the Sonja team. I ran it 7 times. Look at this. All of them were over 76 billion, and the maximum was 77.1 billion. That is incredible consistency. Normally, you never see something like that in Orson. Okay, guys, another team just came out, so I'm going to be adding that to this video. There might be also more teams that are cooked up in the next few hours, and I'll make a new video about that. But right now, this team allowed me to break my previous record by about 1 billion, and it is not using Sonja, but I think right now people are figuring out a way to try and incorporate Sonja into this version of the team. But basically, it is a Shakir team. He's buffing up most of your team to allow them to get off more damage. Like, look at the Ludovic damage here. This is the formation. Main Phraesto in front of the Shakir. Illusion in the back. Ludovic up front. And Smokey off to the right. You have the Elsa here to reduce the fury of the boss, which... well, she also deals some decent damage herself, but I think probably the idea would be replacing Elsa for Sonja and having the team still be grouped up in this nice sort of way. Like, maybe, you know, Phraesto onto Elsa's position and then Sonja right here in front of the Shakir. I think that might be able to work, or something like that. Anyway, let's take a look and watch this replay to see how the grouping of the team works out. But this was, but there is RNG with this team. Like, I got some pretty low score runs, but then I did get 2 new record runs over 78 billion damage for me, which is really good. So it is another option for you to try, for example, if you don't have Sonja built up. Because the other team I'm going to show you after this was one of the best teams, but without Sonja, but it is not competing with this one. So if you have Shakir built up, you should be running this one instead. Look at the grouping. Shakir is buffing up the entire allies, every single ally with his massive attack buff, especially with his mystic charms. So you're going to need to have mystic charms on Shakir for this, because that 5 skill power will increase the power of his attack buff onto the allies. And of course you need to have inside charms on Ludovic to be effective here. I also would like to have overloaded charms. I don't have them. She is still on legendary charms. That is why my score can't, like, maybe break 80 billion, but with that maybe I would be able to Verdant Spell. Verdant Spell is to really just give haste to Ludovic, because then he can cast his HP per second damage skill more frequently to get off more damage. And that is this overall team. So now we'll go for the final team, which got lower than this. But I will show you the formation of this team. Main Phraesto in front of the Illusion. Illusion with the Resonating Spell in the back. Elsa Mikola, Ludovic Smokey for your HP per second damage. Again, you want the boss to walk up towards you. That's why you have the hero's position off to the side. And we can take a look at this replay. And if you're wondering about Ludovic, the key thing is you just need to get him the insight charms for the skill power for his HP per second damage. You don't need, like, his exclusive equipment upgrades for the skill effect. It's only that they will give you stats. And so, for example, like, however much you can upgrade him in exclusive equipment and however much you can ascend him even up to Supreme Plus, they're going to give stats which matter and increase his damage output. So I would say, like, try to get him to Supreme or Supreme Plus, try to get him to +5 exclusive equipment. You don't have to take him to +10 if you have other priorities on your account. +5, you'll do fine. Because that still gives him a lot of stats. And actually the biggest breakpoint would be maybe around about +8, because it's kind of cheap to upgrade a hero to +8 and they get some other additional stats on top of the base stats they're getting. Okay, but looking at it here, yeah, Smokey is not going to be knocked up by the boss in this position, which is good. And Elsa gets to keep casting and reducing the fury of the boss. Okay, so that is pretty much it for the top 3 teams to be running for the Endless Boss. The reason why Sonja is so strong is because of the buff she provides to her allies. And when you have 2 really hard-hitting damage dealers like Ludovic and Smokey, and she can buff up both of them, she gets so much value. And also, she actually synergizes really well with Smokey because her buff takes time to ramp up, and Smokey doesn't deal his damage until basically he's fully buffed up from Sonja, because he needs to cast his ultimate. I think the 4th ultimate cast will be the blue aura for the damage. And by that point in time, like, enough time has passed for Sonja to almost have him fully buffed. And then Ludovic as well will deal damage throughout the fight. And even right from the beginning of the match, you're going to have that initial 21% attack buff to both allies, and with the 5 skill power. So that's why Sonja is so strong. She's really good when there's a team relying on 2 key hard-hitting damages that she can buff both of them without compromising the position. And her damage is just surprisingly good. Like, when you even compare it to, like, Phraesto is an HP per second damage dealer specifically for endless bosses. And him and his illusion both deal around about in this team a bit under 10 billion. And Sonja herself is dealing 11 billion. So she's actually dealing more damage than a single Phraesto. But of course, together, the Phraestos are way beating this Sonja. But Sonja is there for the buffs, and she has that additional damage too, which is crazy. So anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This just shows you, so far, Sonja has become quite meta for Dream Realm. If you don't have Harak, she is in the best team for today, which is Orson, and yesterday for the Snowstomper. She was in the best team if you don't have Harak. And so even just that, even if she's not good in the future bosses, that is a reason you might want to begin recruiting for her. And I am pretty sure she will be good in other bosses as well. So Sonja is a great hero. In PvP, she's a bit lacking, to be honest. I was expecting her to be more dominant in PvP and less in Dream Realm, but she's actually more dominant in Dream Realm than I was thinking. And she is a little bit weak in PvP, although I feel like in future seasons and things, like, it's always nice to have a buffer like her for PvP. I do not think she's bad in PvP, but I kind of do prefer Tassi to her in PvP. But anyway, guys, that's it for this video. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now, and thank you for watching, and good luck getting a high score in the Orson boss today.